Salutations, nerds! We're watching the MCU in all its glory.
Welcome back to Phased Out. We keep working our way through the MCU. Trudging along. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm very tired.
I've been reinvigorated by this movie.
Anyway, this is a series designed to make Nick hate us. I don't think it's going to happen on this one because I actually kind of like this movie. You are the
I'm just
outlying
meh about it. I don't
You're
dislike
kind of
it.
meh about most of these.
Yeah,
so
this watch was maybe go like, I can't even actively hate some of these that I thought I hated. I just don't care.
I'm sure we're about to get to some that you can actively hate.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting to the movies that are just actively bad movies.
Yeah, this one's
Anyway,
bad.
this week we're talking about Captain Marvel. Guys, I really do enjoy this movie. I felt like it was a breath of fresh air compared to where the Infinity Saga was going at the time. I was reading Captain Marvel at the time. I also really like Brie Larson. Yeah, that's about it. I also really like that it's not world-ending stakes like most of them are.
Well, we brought this up off camera.
You cannot count that if it's Ronan. Ronan is like a side character.
Ronan showed up and launched basically space nukes at the Earth. And like I said, it's not a factor until the very end of the movie. Like, the main plot is not world-ending for most of it. But at that part, it becomes a global scale
It
thing.
felt very much smaller than much of the rest of the MCU to this point, except for maybe Phase 1 and some of Phase 2.
It helps that it takes place prior to most of the MCU, probably, where you don't have to worry about who's who knows who, where are they. It's like none of that's happening yet. Like, we just have to focus on this one story, this one character.
There is something to be said where I might like it a little bit more for the fact that it takes place in an era that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of won me over with that whole
The nostalgia bait got you.
the blockbuster thing.
It's like 96 is when it takes place? That's
Something
not right.
like that.
94? It's when Mallrats would have been shooting.
Okay.
So around that time. Well, he's reading the script. It could be 96, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in
I
there.
feel like I should know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Kevin Smith,
Speaking
biographer.
of, what was the Stan Lee cameo in the last movie? Because we never mentioned it.
We didn't.
We never mentioned it.
It's where the car shrinks. The 60s were fun, but
That's
I'm
right.
paying for it.
Oh, yeah.
This is, like, I think I've said it in multiple episodes. Probably one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos.
Google says
Mallrats makes
1995.
sense.
That, and
1995?
It's his last
Okay.
one, and there's a lot to
And
it.
she just smiles at him, and
Yeah.
the logo at the opening was him.
Yeah.
Because he had just died, right?
Are you talking about Captain Marvel?
Weeks prior to this?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like... Was it the end of 2018?
I think so. And this
Could
would
look
have
that
been
up.
Was his
March?
last
February?
actual cameo in a Marvel related movie Into the Spider-Verse then?
No, it would have been this.
Yeah, because...
This is after Into the Spider-Verse by a couple months.
Okay.
2018, so I think it was at the end of 2018.
Was
November
was
2018.
Into the Spider-Verse
October 2018.
and this was December probably?
February 2019.
Okay.
Yep, I think it had the same release week as Black Panther from the year before.
Yes, yep.
That slot.
It's a good slot.
It really is the first big movie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. I like parts of it. I like seeing Lee Pace. Lee Pace is a very, very nice-looking human being. And he doesn't have all the Ronin makeup on.
Yeah.
You know, the black makeup, like, under his eyes. He looks like a baseball player.
It's also nice to see Jude Law doing some things.
Add Jude Law.
He's there. He's existing.
I like Jude Law.
Me too. I actually really like him in this role.
He can make anything sound at least decent.
Yeah.
No matter what you give him.
There's some cheesy dialogue for him in this movie.
Yes,
There's
there
some
is.
very cheesy dialogue.
Is that guy with the swords also the guy that in the beginning of Guardians?
Yeah.
Korath.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's his name? Okay.
How do you say his name? Jiman?
Digimon Hunsu.
Jiman? Yeah, I know. I can't-
Digimon Hunsu.
Did you?
He's just great in everything.
Yeah. He's underutilized in a lot of things.
He's a supporting character a lot of the time.
Does his character get killed off in Guardians?
Yeah, he gets his head ripped out.
That's right.
Because he's a bot by then. But funny, he's in this, but we don't really... It doesn't make any sense why. Because you think, is this like explaining how he linked up with Ronan? Which would be a distraction. But then it's like, why is he in here? I love seeing him and stuff, but it's like, why is he in here if it doesn't connect any dots?
Yeah, it's such a weird, small role to have in 2 movies, and he's also in, I think, a couple episodes of the What If show.
Okay.
The blue sniper girl.
That's Gemma Chan,
Yeah, Gemma Chan.
who plays a different character in the MCU for Eternals.
Yep.
Okay.
She's the lead in Eternals. Yep.
I was thinking she was the Infinity War child of Thanos.
No, that's Carrie
Proxima
Coon.
Midnight, Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Gemma Chan is Minerva in this.
Yes.
And then I don't remember her Eternals character, even though she's the main character.
Oh, that's bad. I can think of like Icarus and
Okay, yep.
Sprite and...
Yep, I know what it is. I want to see if you can get it.
We have to get to that movie yet, don't we?
I like that movie. I can't think of it.
Cersei.
That's right.
And that's the
Why
main...
was I thinking that was Angelina Jolie's character's name?
I don't know.
I can't think of what hers is either.
I'll go find it.
Did that movie flop, or are they ever going to do something more with them?
Athena.
That's right.
No, Athena. Just Athena.
Athena. It did flop, but I think they are continuing on with some of the characters.
What about the big Bionicle guy? He's
talked about
shooting
this-
out of the earth, and everyone's been talking about every time Marvel comes out. Well, what about the giant guy?
Oh, the Celestial?
Yeah, just sticking out of the ground. No one has brought that up at all.
No, it's been brought up.
In what?
In one of the movies, it's in a newspaper clipping along with another thing that happened in the MCU.
Oh,
That's it.
that's it. I feel like
I think in Ms. Marvel it's mentioned once, very briefly in the middle of a very long sentence. But yeah, you think that'd be a bigger deal.
Yeah.
I always forget the Earth's an egg. You gotta remember that.
And then what's the thing that takes her at the... It's different than the... Is it Galactus?
What movie are we talking about? Eternals or this one?
Yeah, Eternals.
Okay.
The one that takes her at the end, I think it might be the after credit scene. She just gets like ripped out of the sky or off the ground.
That's right.
I don't even remember that.
It's the mid credit because the after credit is Kit Harington with Mahershala Blade voice in the background that we still haven't seen any
I
Blade
thought
anything.
the mid credit was Harry Styles and Patton Oswalt in that movie.
The end of the movie is her getting ripped away.
Yeah,
Is it?
And then the mid credit is Harry Styles.
Yeah, Harry
Okay,
Styles,
so-
who's Thanos' brother. I think?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
mentioned that so many
And-
times in the
yeah.
series too.
Yeah.
So the ones stuck in the earth, are they elementals? Or is
No,
that the
they're
Spider-Man
they're
Far From Home thing?
Celestials.
Celestials. And then Galactus is the thing that rips her off the earth.
I don't know. That's the first I've ever heard of that being Galactus.
Galactus.
I could be probably wrong.
Yeah. Because I
I
feel
thought I
like we would
looked
have been
it
hearing
up, so-
nonstop Fantastic Four stuff.
But Captain Marvel,
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel. There's space in that one too.
there is.
Yeah, I like this movie. It's good. The 90s references are fine. I don't like the music choices.
Yeah.
The music choices are a little on the nose.
I can't remember any of them at the
I'm Just a
moment.
Girl during the
Oh.
big fight scene. Nirvana is kind of
Come As You Are.
Yeah, Come As You Are. Oh, what
That
is-
is odd.
there's a couple of them there. They just really clash with the scene, and it's just because people know this song. This is from that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure I'm Just a Girl had not come out yet or something. There was something with the music where it's like that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have been on the radio at that time.
Yeah.
I like the movie. I've always liked the movie. But one of the things I remember is just all the hate for it for
It got review bombed.
just dumb reasons. And even a couple of my friends were like, how did it go? It was like, why does Marvel got to lean into the girl power thing? And I'm watching this, and they said that to me beforehand. I was like, how is this girl power? The dude literally asked her to smile for him.
That's kind of where all of this woke stuff started. Was with Brie Larson's little press junket, where she literally said nothing wrong. She was just making an observation.
Yep.
that, hey, this is a female-led movie, and I've had nothing but male interviewers. That's all she said. And crybaby men on the internet went crazy. And
Crybaby men in real life went crazy.
And it's been a snowball effect since then.
Yeah, every
wait,
female-led thing.
hold on. Captain Marvel is to blame for where our culture is currently.
Oh, yeah. I legitimately think this movie started that trend of hating everything that's female-led, black-led, not cis white male.
Or has a lesbian...
there's whole YouTube channels that make hundreds of thousands off of that hate.
Or has a lesbian kiss that you can barely see in the background.
Or a non-binary character that has 4 scenes in Fallout.
Or someone who's not white in a Star Wars show be a main character and everyone hates them for no reason.
Yep.
And then call out that they like bully them online to the point where Ewan McGregor say, "Please stop."
Yeah, it's woke because it's different. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, Captain Marvel.
You don't even have to say anyway, Captain Marvel. I mean, if anything, the
applies to
discourse
Captain Marvel,
around the movie is bigger than anything that happens in the movie, and that's not a discredit to the movie. It's just that exploded before the movie even came out.
Yeah.
I enjoyed how the twist was handled. I don't usually like twist villains, but like when you kind of think about like we knew the Kree were bad originally, like, and it's just kind of waiting to see how it turns around on her. Like, I enjoyed that.
And she doesn't buy it right away.
Yeah.
Even after the story and seeing things, that scene outside where he's telling her, and she still doesn't believe. She's not quite willing to believe him.
Also, well done to Ben Mendelsohn for doing his best to act through that makeup and making it work. Because whenever he has that makeup on, he sounds so rough. That poor guy was chewing rubber the entire time. Yeah. Why did we not put him in ADR?
I like the switch, though, when he's playing Fury's boss and switches accents mid-fight.
Yep.
I was like, that's good.
Mendelsohn is such a good actor.
The problem is if you know it's Ben Mendelsohn's voice as, what is his name again?
Are you talking?
Talos.
Yeah.
Are you talking about when his boss puts his glasses back on and like, I know what you're thinking.
Yep.
I don't need these, but
I don't need these, but there's just they kind of complete the thing. He's got a little bit of a lisp.
Yep.
That was a good
But
line.
he just does the voice flip like that, and the problem with knowing who Ben Mendelsohn is, and I watched it the first time and I saw him next to Fury, I go, oh, that's the one guy. I already know that's one of the Skrull because I know what Ben Mendelsohn looks like.
That was me when I watched Thor: The Dark World. I'm like, oh, hey, that's the Doctor. He can't be the bad guy, this crazy elf guy. I just could not see just Christopher Eccleston
which
under
is
that
interesting.
makeup.
Which is interesting because Dark World, he has so much makeup.
So much makeup, you can just see his face and it's like, yep, that's the Doctor.
Do you ever think that's why they didn't have him talk?
Probably.
But that one scene, as we said in our episode for it, that one scene with Frigga, he's actually intimidating.
Even
you
he's
said
a
that.
phenomenal actor.
He doesn't talk that much in that scene, though.
Most of it was him going,
oh, Christopher Eccleston, you picked some of the worst roles.
I know.
How did you do that movie and G.I. Joe around the same time? That's true. He won't recognize his Doctor Who-ness, but he'll take the paychecks for those.
He got that bag.
Hey, they show up at your house with a dump truck full of money. What are you going to say? No?
I want a dump truck full of money. Can we get one of those en route?
It'd be fun to just have a dump truck like with nothing in it. You could drive it around. You could hang on the side and go, "Hey kids, how you doing?" Yeah, and then they're doing the thing and just.
I'll take the money. You take the dump truck.
Would you rather have a dump truck or a garbage truck, like an empty garbage truck?
What's the difference?
A garbage truck would have a crusher in it.
Yeah.
I could get rid of garbage truck.
I could get rid of Jimmy Hoffa's body finally.
I know where it is.
I'm sure you do. It's in
I do.
Florida. Everybody says it's in Florida.
No, it's not in Florida.
Okay.
It's under the Oval Office.
In the Oval Office on like the second floor of the White House.
Yes. So it's in the room underneath it.
I actually don't know. Is that where the
I don't know.
Oval Office is?
I should have thought this out before making the joke.
Okay, let's see.
No, we could just keep going. So one of my
It is on the first floor. You're right.
okay. Phew, never
Now
mind.
there's probably a basement under that, but we're not.
So
gonna go there.
Captain Marvel, I think one problem I have watching it is because when you do amnesia stories, you know how you sprinkle in backstory stuff until you get the backstory. They do it not all like revealing what it is, but they do the majority of it in one scene in the first act.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of would have liked to see this sprinkled out because she says she sees flashes, but we'd
I
hardly
think
get that.
even if you saw it multiple times. So, like, I think in my head, the way that works is I agree with you. If they sprinkle it throughout and then they do the thing where she remembers and they do the whole standing up thing, which I think is a really cool
I like
moment.
that montage,
and
yeah.
I like how I like those types of stories. Like, we're human, even though we get knocked down and people think we're these fragile little things, we stand back up.
And she has this whole life of men around her, or just anyone telling her that she's not strong enough or doesn't belong.
But then you compile all those ones that you've been seeing throughout the movie and just
Yep.
line them up like that. That would be cool.
But it's that one scene at the beginning where they're in her head, which is cool, but we're getting like everything. It is shown, but it's
Expedition
mostly
dump.
told to us in this one section, and then we don't see much of it until the black box scene, which
Yeah.
I like, but wouldn't it be better if we sprinkled it and then we get to the black box and that's the triggering moment where it all comes back to her.
Also, thinking about a scroll being the person that develops a flying technology that works for the U.S. government, don't you think the U.S. government would be like,
She was Kree.
she was Kree, you're right.
Yes. But working for the government, you wouldn't think they'd find that out eventually?
Well, you wouldn't think they'd look at a piece of tech and be like, that doesn't look like something we normally create. We don't really have the technology to do that.
That's why she was working on her own Project
Yeah,
Pegasus.
yeah, it was a secret thing, and then they terminated it because she and a pilot died.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it's too dangerous. And they didn't have evidence of anything because she shot the engine.
And it was the 90s, so surveillance wasn't nearly what it is today.
I have a secondary question. How is the Tesseract on Earth in the 90s?
Well, it went into the ocean in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He didn't get it right away.
Howard Stark.
I need a
Found
timeline
it.
of where the Tesseract was.
Yeah, we do see Howard finding it
Okay.
at one point.
Yeah, he finds it.
What movie is that in?
I think that was at the end of First Cap, wasn't
gotta
it? It
be.
shows him
think-
down
I
there.
think you're right. Yeah.
And then they talk about, like, he should have left it in the ocean. So
But then,
he
like-
dug it up.
But then,
and
like,
some-
Loki has it
But that's
to-
after this.
After this.
Yeah.
But, like, how did he get it?
he
Because if the
used-
government has it...
beginning of
used-
Avengers.
He used Selvig. Yeah, he brainwashed Selvig to open the portal with it.
Okay, so...
And came in and took
Because
it.
his staff is the Mind Stone.
Fury has it first in Avengers,
Yeah,
right?
because they're testing
Okay.
it in the big facility in the cave. And then we see in the previous movie that Selvig's being controlled by Loki.
Okay.
So he's the one that opens the portal to allow Loki in, and then Loki takes it.
Okay. That makes sense.
And Shield's had it since the end of the, the Flurkin,
Yeah, coughed it up.
onto the desk. And they did that because it's gonna be a bunch of nerds saying, "Well, how did they get the thing out of the cat alien thing?"
I mean, I kind of just did that, except I just wanted to know the timeline of it.
I just wonder why it didn't burn through that desk when it burned through an entire ship. When they were
That's
flying it.
right.
That's 1940s metal. It's different.
They put it in a lunchbox.
Yeah.
A Happy Days lunchbox
Yep.
in this movie.
That's the old jumping into a refrigerator for a nuclear blast for you.
Hey,
A
that
little
scene
bit of,
was fun.
A little bit of lead lining, and you're good to go.
Yeah, but back on that, the
Yeah.
memories. I think they chunked it all at once, and I think the better way is to sprinkle it. People have noticed. I should have looked up examples, but I've seen a lot of people say there's a lot of telling in this movie and not as much showing. And I think that's what hurts it. They're telling us a lot about her instead of letting it just kind of, because she's not. And nothing is Brie Larson. I like Brie Larson. I like the character. Not the strongest character in this. Even if we are figuring out because she has amnesia, but
Even though she has not as much time in the movie, I think is it Maria or Monica? Maria in this one, right?
yes,
Yeah, I think Maria Rambeau is one of the stronger characters in this movie. Who's the actress?
Lashana Lynch.
Yeah, I think she does so well in the little bit they give her. I'm kind of glad she came back for Doctor Strange, but
That's right.
There was very little there.
And
for
she's
her
in
as
that
well.
one scene in WandaVision.
Yep.
Which, again, last week we said is a really good
Are you
scene.
talking about Multiverse of Madness?
Who
remember
was
her in
she?
that.
She
She
was...
plays Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she's a Captain
Or
Marvel. in a
technically, I
different,
think she was.
Oh.
I think she was playing Binary, which is another version of Captain Marvel. She's got a million names.
It's in the boring universe.
Yeah,
I mean, in this movie, it's Marvel.
and she gets taken care of pretty quickly.
Marvel. That was, if we want to say cringe, the little dishwashing scene saying like Marvel. You mean Marvel? No, Marvel has a better ring to it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Honestly, even the end where he gets the Avengers Initiative name from her call sign.
yeah.
So technically, she was the first Avenger.
Technically, that's true. Well,
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
she's the first labeled Avenger. That's true.
But what this movie does have,
Clark Gregg.
De-aged Clark.
D.H. Clark Gregg. I love that
There
man.
is
And
so
his
much.
eyes are so small.
I love that man so much. I forget how much I love him as Agent Coulson. If any movie was going to make me go back to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
how long had he been out of the MCU?
Avengers.
Not even counting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
7
Oh,
years in the
if
movies.
you count Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think that was still running almost up into this.
Really?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ran until, I think, want to say 2018, 2017.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I think they had 10 seasons. I could be wrong about that because I never watched the tail end of it, but I think I remember just seeing ads for it going much later than I thought it should have. Watch, it ended in 2015.
It ends 2012.
7 seasons.
7 seasons.
2013 is the first season, so probably about 2019, 2020, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I thought it went for quite a while.
Yeah,
It
let's
took
see.
me a
2020.
minute. It took me a minute to realize
You
that
ran
that's who
past
that
this.
was. Well, because he doesn't call him Coulson at first. He calls him Rook.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that a code name? It looks kind of like Coulson, but
Rook for rookie.
yeah.
I did like he gets the phone call. Sir, you left me back at the blockbuster. Where'd everyone go? I was like, that's pretty good. The scroll is right there.
Also, why was Captain Marvel bleeding? They said they injected their blood into her. The Kree blood into her.
Are you saying why was she bleeding in the opening scene?
Well, she was bleeding, but it was blue.
You're saying when we first see the
Yes.
crash site? It's because, remember, they altered her memory. So they made her blood blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because, remember, it's the Skrull shooting at her in her memory that they altered.
Okay.
But when they look at the real one, her blood is red, and it's Jude Law.
All right, I think it's time for one of our favorite segments. Jared,
Yeah?
have you watched Dutch yet?
No.
Why not?
Because there are plans in place to watch Dutch soon.
Get on it.
Are you making it an event?
Yeah, I think I will.
You can watch Dutch as many times as you want as a year. You own
That's
a copy
true.
of it.
No, I feel like if you overdo it with Dutch, it'll lose some of its specialness.
You don't know the power of Dutch, dually. Nothing burps better than bacon.
RV.
Dutch is better than RV.
I find that hard to believe.
Actually, that's a good double feature.
RV, you're Dutch.
They're not even like the same. Are they the same decade?
No.
Not even close.
No, they're like
Is it-
16 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
What year is Dutch?
91 and
Oh, okay.
RV's
I
like
thought it
07.
was an early 2000s
Yeah.
movie.
I'm a
Nope.
wild
nope.
hogs guy myself.
John. It's like John Hughes written early 90s slapstick road
that
movie.
sounds sick.
You'd think.
Sicker than you would ever believe.
Sicker, but not in the way you think. Anyway, Captain Marvel.
Sam
Captain
Jackson,
Marvel could have seen Dutch.
She could have.
Why
Like-
wasn't Dutch in the
No,
blockbuster?
She was in space when it came out in theaters.
When it came out, but she could still have watched it after some point. One of the scenes that they cut from the movie is her, I gotta remember names, Maria and what's her daughter's name?
Monica.
Monica, all sitting down and watching a VHS of Dutch as they're waiting for the next day.
It would be kind of interesting to like look at the frames in the blockbuster and see what movies they
I did.
actually put on the. Oh, you did?
Not all of them in one shot. When she picks up the right stuff, great movie. It's like Top Gun but good. And I saw like Hook, Jumpin' Jack Flash, a couple others, but I was like, because I saw the Hook cover, I was like, hey,
I know that one.
I was talking about Hook the other day. Yesterday, actually.
Good movie.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Spielberg movie.
It's funny because it's not his favorite movie.
Oh, no, he hates it. He just does not.
I don't know if it's my favorite Spielberg. It might be Ready Player One. But it's up there.
Jared, does that hurt you a little bit?
Nick can like whatever he wants. And actually, it makes sense.
He liked that girl even though she was so hideous. I respect him for
With
that.
the little birthmark, like right there, right?
She was a monster, Jared. And Spielberg was smart enough not to put T.J. Miller in the movie, but still let him put a voice in there.
That's right. Does he kiss the birthmark?
Probably.
I think he does. Not T.J. Miller. That'd be
Man, I need to watch that
in
movie
character,
again.
but I remember with that part. I go, we gotta do this again.
got
We've
the-
been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah, you've got the weird Simon Pegg, Willy Wonka moment at the end.
That's right. Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Sam Jackson, great in this movie. I like seeing young DH Sam Jackson a lot better than young DH Michael Douglas.
Although what you wrote,
He still runs like an old man.
I was gonna say
That's it. It's like
His
there's
face-
a couple shots where
I knew that's what you
he's
were-
doing this, and I'm like,
He's not a good runner.
it's like that is like 70-year-old man.
There's
He's
like-
supposed to be
But
45.
he ran like that when he was young. Like you watch his
But-
younger movies, he's always run like that.
but there's like a wide shot where they're running to like
Yeah.
quad jet,
Yeah.
and she's like 10 feet in front of
Yeah,
him, and
she's
he's
doing-
just
he's
running.
shuffling
He's
along.
running as hard as he can.
How about first scene that they meet Goose, where he bends down and he's like slowly going down like old man style. It's like this is a 70-year-old man and trying to play a 45-year-old.
Yup.
That said, the de-aging on his face is good.
Look great. They have a lot to work with though. Like he's got a pretty extensive history to pull footage and all that stuff from.
They just pulled all of it from Pulp Fiction.
Why didn't it work so well as with Michael Douglas? It was one movie apart.
That's true.
Why, Jared? I need to know why.
I don't know.
Didn't they de-age him in the first Ant-Man too?
Yeah, it was better.
Was it?
A little bit.
I don't remember. I was too focused on how does the quantum realm work. How are they gonna go get her if she's at the bottom of the ocean?
Yeah, because they
That's a
de-aged a
different-
few people in that first one.
That's a different podcast. So go back and watch that, and you'll hear.
Yeah, but Sam Jackson, Brie Larson's chemistry is good, and they were in that Unicorn Store movie
yeah, they
after.
became like real close friends in real life.
Unicorn. I remember that, and
Is that a Netflix
remember
thing?
nothing about it.
I got a lot of hate when it came out. I wonder why.
Yeah, but those two have good chemistry.
I mean, it's not like we live in a hateful society or
No.
anything like that.
It's not like there's certain people and things that get a little bit more hate than anyone else.
Yeah. Annette Bening is in this.
She is.
Not a lot, and that's a shame.
And I also really don't like her in this one. And I like
That's
Annette
another
Bening.
thing. Yeah, that's another thing of like if you're doing the sprinkle thing, you can have more like small scenes between them, like real small, like 20 seconds.
Who is?
She's the pilot that
Wendy
brings her out.
Lawson,
Yeah, Marvell.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and she in the what she sees the Supreme Intelligence as.
That's what I was trying to think of the name of.
Yep, and
I kind of wish we'd have gotten more of that.
yeah,
I wish the Supreme Intelligence was the villain and not Ronan and.
I think it should have opened with her in a meeting with the Supreme Intelligence and kind of just throw you for a loop where she's in this weird white room with Annette Bening talking, and you cut to her waking up to Jude Law and then continue that scene out.
yeah.
I think just cutting randomly to her in there with the Supreme Intelligence would have been nice.
I did laugh pretty good when he's going through his whole spiel of, "This is where you prove to me."
I do like how they dealt with her power scaling, giving her dampeners and things like that throughout the movie. So, because I mean, she's such a powerful character, you have to bring it down for her first movie to make it
I
believable.
was thinking that too. I like how when she finally like takes the inhibitor off and like the final, is it really the third act? Is that fight the whole third act?
Yeah.
Okay, so that when the final fight starts, she doesn't like have control of them. Like you can see, I don't know if it's a problem in the choreography, but you can see her like struggling with it.
But last week and this week's have very long third acts, very long, and you see it a lot in movies, these like big blockbuster movies. Just it's because the ending is usually where you have the big action set piece, and that's like usually their favorite parts, the normal movie going people. So if we just keep expanding it, then they get more of what they like. But what happens then is you either have a really long movie, which times are up, or the second act is just tiny. You're both on your phone. I was like,
sorry, I had a little work thing pop up.
yeah, so watching both these, it's like, man, these third acts start with like an hour left, and they're just dragged out. And it's not terrible. It's just, it's a little exhausting. Because like this one, the kind of starts when they're on the base ship, Marvel's thing where all the Skrull refugees are. So you have like all those. They got her with the Supreme Intelligence and her going nuts and all the fight scenes, and then they're getting on the ship.
The Kree up there, not the Kree, but the Skrull up there and their families.
And there's some beforehand down in the where the one Skrull dies, gets shot by Jude Law, and then then when there's the whole escape and they're chasing after him and fighting.
Color changing scene.
Yep, and then she smashes through a bunch of ships, and then Ronan shows up, and Ronan sends all the big space nukes, and then she just knocks them all out, which was cool. And then she like faces off with Ronan, does the and then the whole like showdown thing with Jude Law, like that's all the climax. Like it's like 40 minutes long.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the fighting in the movie. I like how her powers look.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it just goes and goes and goes and goes.
And last week
that.
It did that too.
I like that scene where she, uses her body to break a ship apart.
Yeah.
That's fun. She does that in Endgame too, doesn't she? Just
but a
fly
much
right
bigger
through?
ship. She broke apart the ship that holds those ships.
And it's one of the big moments of like, all right.
Yeah. And it has a bit of a payoff. There's a lot more that we could have gotten in Endgame that would have been nice with that. But I like that. Like, Daniel's headbutting her, and she doesn't flinch at all in that. Like, I like that we got to see her scale down, learn how to use her powers, learn what her things are and everything like that.
She's being held back and told to keep in her emotions, so when she lets it out, she's way more powerful.
Yeah.
And it's not subtle message, but it works.
Yeah.
And it is girl power. I don't care.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with girl power.
Yeah, if anything, all the flashbacks, like we said, of like people telling her what she can't do and saying, belong here. I hate the cockpit line, though. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Not that wouldn't happen.
You know why they call it a cockpit?
Yeah. It's just.
The thing is, I've known guys who would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's just like it.
But it
gets
does
the
feel forced in and a little cheesy, and yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it reminds me of the scene from Captain Falcon with the cop.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I know what you're doing, and I like that it's here. This is horribly done. And because I've never been in that situation, if it does happen like that, then I'm none the wiser. I wasn't sure.
It does.
But the way it's done, it's like, I feel like this could have been done better.
Oh, definitely.
Because having it in there is good.
And also where it happens is a little weird of a placement after such like a serious scene going right into that. Yeah. Because that's the first time we meet Isaiah Bradley in that show, right? Like they go meet him and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess placed like thematically makes sense to put it right there, but tonally it kind of was a little bit weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And this one, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
No.
It's kind of what's supposed to be.
And I could get people who are going in kind of hating this movie already for feminism and girl power, seeing that scene and just like, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, and the motorcycle guy, which I mean, she steals his motorcycle. It's pretty funny.
But the rest of the movie is not super heavy-handed about that stuff.
I really love that. See, doesn't she flip the newspaper like twice? Once to look at him initially. Oh,
isn't it a map?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Map. Whatever she's holding, the piece of paper she's holding like a newspaper. It doesn't that happen twice? Like once when he asked her to smile for him, and then once to look at his bike.
It's like something like that. She flips it down when he pulls up, and he says something, and then just come on, smile. And I don't remember.
I don't know why I like that scene so much. You just
because then he says freak. And then she looks at his bike and then just takes it. Almost hit the car.
Yeah.
The old lady fight's funny.
Old lady fight is funny. I kind of wish they wouldn't have put that in any of the trailers. Like,
Yeah.
seeing that ahead of time really ruined that. That would have been a really fun moment if that was a
Yeah,
complete
I like how
surprise.
people are trying to pull her off. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just everyone watching. They're, like, actively trying
Yeah.
to stop her because they think it's an old lady. Yeah, like, that chase scene's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
I don't think it's the best shot chase scene,
No.
but it is fun.
I will say that I think Marvel has fights in cars choreographed really well.
Yeah, they do them a lot.
Going back to like last week's, like that one in Ant-Man and the Wasp where she jumps out the back window and swings it. Like, I know it's CG, but it looks fun.
Yeah.
And it's not MCU, but Deadpool 2's chase with the convoy is really good.
It is.
That's a good one.
And then they made a whole movie out of chase scene violence in Mad Max Fury Road.
And it's one of the best. It's so good. And like 90% of it's like practical. I think CG was just used for like the color grading and like some backgrounds.
Is Furiosa all on the move too?
No. It's structured differently and they complement each other. Both movies do really well.
I still need to watch Furiosa.
It's really good.
What everybody tells me.
I wish it did better. It deserves
It's kind of crazy it didn't, because it was getting so much praise. People were loving it. It had plenty of marketing budget.
People just didn't care because they
Yeah.
don't. The people don't know what it is, or
It's also long.
it is long. It's 2.5 though. It's like I think it might be shorter than Eternals.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, for a while they were pushing anything that's going to be a blockbuster is about 3 hours long.
Yeah, I know.
Eternals is kind of an eternal movie.
2:36.
I'm done with the podcast. I can't with jokes like that. I cannot sanction this buffoonery.
It's like 8. It's 8 minutes shorter than
Sorry,
Eternals.
I'm tired. When I get tired, I get a little bit like Dickie with my jokes.
I have almost fallen asleep on this podcast twice today.
Some people are funny when we're tired. Some people are not.
I'm always funny. It doesn't matter if I'm tired, awake. It doesn't really matter.
You know who is always funny though? Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I like the little bar scene of like, how can you prove to me you're not a Skrull?
Yep.
And I said out loud, what does that prove? And then he goes, now what does that prove?
Mm-hmm.
I always love watching Samuel L. Jackson movies and going, okay, when is the moment when real Sam Jackson's gonna pop
out,
out? And for me in this movie, it's throwing his gun at the guy.
For me, I think it was when he was running down the halls. You could tell he was tired. There's a moment you see his face. He's like, "Oh, even in the CG de-aging, you can tell he does not want to be doing this right now."
When he gets his eye scratched and it, mother flirkin'.
Oh, Goose.
That does it makes. I think I said it for the Winter Soldier episode. It makes that little speech to Pierce less effective now.
Yeah.
Because before, it's the last time I trusted someone that much. I lost an eye.
To be fair, he did trust Goose.
Oh,
a
I
lot.
know. It's just funny. It's like, oh, it's just a flirkin' scratched him.
It's just an alien with a dimension in his stomach scratching him. That's it.
Be like, it's just a scratch. I think it's getting better. No, it's not.
Oh, poor guy. Poor Goose. Goose might be the best character in this movie. I named my car Goose after that cat.
Your current one or your old one?
My old one. My
Your old
orange one.
I think they shouldn't have had the Goose reveal be the Tesseract. It should have been the hallway.
Yeah.
Because then it's this weird thing of like, well, you have to show it because that's going to be a thing. But they show it twice, and it feels like too much. And I think it's because the reveal should have been the hallway.
Do you think that's poor writing, directing, or editing?
I think the editing's fine.
Yeah.
It's just because the editing has more to do with like how the scene is put together, not as much like where it's placed. I think it's a writing thing. I think it's, hey, we should have it here to introduce it because it's a real quick, and then here it's like it's the Groot scene.
You see the full force of it.
Yeah, like Groot's hallway thing with the
That's
in the
one
first
of the most
garden.
effective scenes of just pure violence in the MCU.
Yeah. But then like this one's like, it should have been, we don't know that about Goose. And then in that moment, because could you imagine everyone's reaction if that was the first time you saw what Goose actually was?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things in this movie where it would have fixed a lot of the issues had they just put it in the right spot.
Yeah, it's a structure thing.
Yeah, because like the movie as a whole, the story they're telling is great. The characters are great. The actors are great. It's just a pacing issue and just a flow issue for a lot of it.
Yeah, and I've noticed it about movies too that have short second acts and long climaxes and third acts. It's like you get to a moment that you recognize, oh, we're at the end. And when you notice how much time is left, because again, we get to the space station with like an hour left.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're here at like the last big location of the movie for the climax, and it's like we have a lot to do still. I think it just needs a longer middle of the movie and a shorter end, because it has the story to do it. Again, like you said, it's how it's structured and how it's paced.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue with it, honestly, is the structure and pacing. Because like even Jake said, like the reveals and the twists and everything, they work. They're placed in the right spots. It's just the little moments are a little too stretched out. Like the little outfit color changing scene.
See, I like that one.
I like it, but it's a little bit too long because you have so many of those little scenes.
And
in
the
there.
placement, because we've had a couple of those scenes right before, because it's the calm before the storm, before the climax, and we've had a couple of those back
you
to
get,
back
like,
to
the
back.
computer one, you get them in the house talking to Fury and the kid. Like there's a whole bunch of them right back to, and that's the last one before going into your big action scene. It's not though, because don't we have another like talkie scene right after that with the villains?
We might.
I think we do before the fighting starts. So like we need
and
one
then
more.
then we have Jude Law with the alien in the house where he shoots him. Like to start it, it's like it's all these little moments.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I do like the suit change
Me
too.
too.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing.
It's probably the one that pokes out to me because it's the one I enjoy the most out of those little scenes.
So
I like the one where they're loading the image as well. When they're trying to load the floppy disk and it's just slowly loading for them.
So, I know that you have to have Captain Marvel's suit be a certain way because Captain Marvel. But I gotta tell you, I really love that neon lined one. I thought that was sick. And I was like, no, don't change it. Oh.
Like the rainbow one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to do it. They're like, definitely not. I go, why?
Because you have to have Captain Marvel's suit be a certain thing.
She's had so many suits though. We're going with the I guess it's the most popular one, but it's the most boring one.
Yeah, it's true.
They didn't even give her the little scarf that she wraps around her
Oh,
waist in
yeah.
the comics.
So, wasn't there a comic around the end of Secret Wars 2?
Maybe. I mean, there was
recent one where like they redid her origin to where she's like a World War II pilot and had like a platoon of lady pilots with her.
I've not heard that, but probably that sounds like something Marvel would do.
The marvelous
I feel like it was
Airwomen.
part of the storyline that
There
I
you
was
go.
reading leading up to this. I can't remember though. Whatever it was, its art was fantastic.
You know, a bad comic book fan. I don't pick up comic books anymore. I know it's sad.
I mean, I don't really pick them up any. They're too much money now. I pick them up when they're done telling a story and it's in a full book, like God Butcher or.
And yeah, I just got like issues like 7 through like 20 of a Spider-Man run. It's like I didn't even get the first ones. So I gotta go find those on somewhere online, read those to catch up to where the books I have, and then read that little collection.
I remember. Sorry, this is a bit of a side, and it's not even about Marvel. I remember when I was getting into collecting comic books, I was big into Scott Snyder's Batman run. This is not that long ago. And we were at a comic book store in Detroit. Detroit. And I'm looking around, and I see this dude going through this stack of Batman comics from that era. And I look, and he's got the whole run, and I was like, son of a bitch, I'm going to walk out of here with all these. Like, I know you probably haven't priced those yet. How much do you want for them? I see one of the dudes go in the back and go at his phone and look him over. Son of a bitch. What a racket it is.
Collecting, it's all about perceived prices and supply and demand.
Honestly, I think I got a good deal on it. I think I only paid $80 for the whole set.
I like how you this whole time it felt like you were getting scammed, and then you're like, I did buy it. Like, don't get me wrong, I bought it.
Oh yeah, I wanted it.
And then sometimes you can feel bad. It's like, I'm glad with the deal I got because like I bought it, brought it home, looked at the online price. You go, oh, I really got a good deal. Well, but then you feel bad. It's like, because they didn't know. But then again, they got to know this.
I think. Well, yeah. If you run a comic book store, you know.
Just anything like collectible like that. Like you've got to be aware of what the online pricing is.
I think all but one of them is first run, so they will probably appreciate in value.
As long as you got them bagged and boarded.
Bagged and boarded in a long box. Good. Up off the floor.
I think the example I'm thinking of that's not a comic is a friend of the podcast, Hammy, bought like a Criterion Laserdisc of, it was like Olympic films for like $35 or something. Maybe it was either 35 or 65, and the online price was like $200 or $300.
That's a little bit different though, because Laserdisc you can find at Goodwill, and I would not expect Goodwill to know. But it's I'm assuming that he found it at Goodwill.
Yeah, but it's like a big box set too, and it was.
Yeah, but I would not expect someone pricing things at Goodwill to be like, let me go check the collectible price of this.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, if it's something like an N64 or like something like that, like I get that, but like a Laserdisc, like.
It was a place we've been to though that like is about collecting. It wasn't like a Goodwill.
Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just there. Yeah, I think, and he felt a little bad. He's like, I feel a little bad because I got a great deal and I feel good, but like this is way cheaper than it would be online.
That's okay. He also got a good deal on that OVA. That guy just likes us.
He does.
I don't think I've met him, so.
You haven't, I don't think.
Yeah. But I'd like to believe he likes me too.
Okay, he would, I'm sure.
Yeah, do we have other thoughts? It's just kind of I know you guys like it. I think
I like the sequel. I think I like the Marvels better than I like Captain Marvel.
Oh, you're going to get hurt by somebody probably.
I do not think that the Marvels is a better movie. I like it better.
I think I agree with you.
There's a lot of good in it. There's a lot of bad that's not their fault.
I think a lot of their chemistry covers a lot
Those
of that.
Those three
bad.
are very good.
Also, Iman Vellani is
great.
Such a delight in her family. The cast they have for her family I'm glad like they let them in this movie.
Yeah, and they're like a part of it.
Yeah, they have an integral part. Like those.
I need to go back and watch Miss Marvel.
Oh, I love that show so much. It's like it's not great, but like I think all the actors are phenomenal in it, and it's really fun. And she should be the new face of the MCU.
When it's the Marvel stuff in the show, I don't care. When it's like her family and family history and like the stuff around the wedding, I am interested.
Yeah,
because I don't know that much about.
Didn't they announce that the girl Hawkeye is going to be the new
Kate Bishop, right?
Yeah,
the leader of the Young Avengers. Yeah, it makes sense with Haley Steinfeld being the biggest actor of all the Young Avengers.
Is Florence Pugh a Young Avenger age?
Or a Thunderbolt?
She is Young Avenger age, but she's a Thunderbolt.
Okay.
She plays for the bad team for now. Bad team.
I was going to say, none of them that they've introduced have really been bad.
Bad Captain America?
Taskmaster
I would not
too,
even,
right? Is a Thunderbolt?
Taskmaster?
Yeah.
The villain from Black Widow?
Not the guy with the BO, the big guy that turns out to be a woman.
Yeah,
that is the only one that I would say is bad. I would not even say like because Red Star is his name.
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian, not bad.
Sure, he is. He was a spy trying to take down the U.S. government.
I would not call Florence Pugh bad.
She tried to kill an Avenger.
She did?
Yeah, she was trying to kill Hawkeye. That's the whole point of that show. Good. She was there to kill Hawkeye.
I mean, good. I mean, not good. I mean, good.
Who else you got that's not bad?
Who else?
She almost ruined Christmas.
She almost ruined Christmas.
I do love that Christmas.
We said another one already. Taskmaster, Red Guardian, Yelena.
Who else is a Thunderbolt? Oh, isn't Abomination?
Abomination?
Oh, you said Bad Cap. I don't think he's necessarily bad.
He decapitated someone in front of a crowd.
He
decapitated someone.
Just because he did that doesn't mean
he does drugs, Jake. He's a bad guy.
And Bucky
Captain America did drugs too. That's why he's Captain America.
Yeah, but he did them in the 60s when it was acceptable.
No, he did him in the 40s.
Yeah, he did them in the 40s when it was acceptable.
Wait, I'm looking at pictures. Ghost of Thunderbolt?
Yeah, Ghost
so
is
we
a
are
Thunderbolt.
getting more Ghost.
Yeah.
Ghost
Oh, you
wasn't
didn't even
bad.
talk about that scene.
What scene?
The I'm not leaving you behind.
Oh, I thought I did.
Oh, we didn't.
I don't remember you talking about that.
But yeah, technically the Thunderbolts are like a group of bad guys, but they're a group of
Anti-heroes.
people with abilities who end up doing bad things for the government.
So they're Marvel Suicide Squad.
And we'll also probably get Harrison Ford as Red Hulk.
You don't as Red Hulk.
Or,
Yeah, because he's
That's already been
Thunderbolt
confirmed.
Ross.
Interesting.
Didn't they ask him about it and he had no idea?
What's a 70-year-old Red Hulk gonna look like?
well, there's a video of it out there. You only get to see his leg and his butt. It's at the end of the new Captain America trailer.
That's right, he's in that.
Yeah. Even in the trailer, he's mumbling his way through. He's barely saying any words.
I don't understand
Oh, Sam.
why they traded old Robert Redford for old Harrison Ford.
It was William Hurt.
Yeah,
William Hurt?
and he died.
Yeah,
That's
because he
right.
died.
I thought they were.
Yeah, they didn't just trade
Yeah.
him in. Like, they kind of had to.
Well, here's your mission for today.
Is Harrison Ford gonna go back in time and want to stay there?
Oh, he's gonna go. I'm gonna go back in time and just complete the mission.
Can we
Back
do a
in
Back in
time.
Future remake where he plays Doc Brown?
Boop, boop, boop.
Marty.
Great. No, it's Great Scott.
I would pay to see that. Actually,
1.21 gigawatts, kid.
do you think they'd ever remake
What is it,
Back to the
though?
Future like that?
I don't know. Matters how
It's
how much
kind
money
of
they need.
This doesn't sound bad. Who was the director of that again?
Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, that's right.
All three.
Who is it that has the thing where, like, as long as I'm alive, we're not remaking these?
I
It's
don't
for
know.
that movie. I don't remember if it's him or the writer. I think it's him.
Might be.
Where he's like,
sense.
we're not touching these.
Yeah.
I hear the game's pretty good.
The scene he was bringing up from Ant-Man, though, that I forgot to mention, is the last Ghost Bill scene where he says, "I'm not leaving you," in his best dad voice. And I told him, like, I actually really like that little moment. It's actually a nice little moment. But we haven't seen either one of them since then. It's been 6 years, so.
Has it only been 6 years? Feels like so much longer.
No, they
So-
also threw out way too many projects in 2021 and 2022.
Does that mean Hannah John Kamen is coming back as Ghost?
I believe so.
Okay. Is Bill going to be in it?
Maybe. I hope so.
Here's another thing.
Bill!
They
Bill.
put Scott in the quantum realm to get the stuff to help her. But then they got dusted, and he was in there for 5 years. What happened to Ghost? How did she survive? Because Janet didn't.
Probably got dusted.
Yeah, maybe she got dusted too and came back in the same state that she was waiting for Scott.
Or
That's cruel because she was finally at peace, and then she came back and was back in pain.
I was never really clear about that. Did what's her face touching her heal her or just?
I think it was like a Band-Aid.
Stabilized her for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought that too, but then when they said it in that mid-credit scene, like, oh, this is going to help. This is going to help your ghost friend. And it's like, okay. So they're getting stuff that Janet knows how to help her, fix her. But then they're gone, so it's like, okay, the whole reason he went in there, he doesn't do that when he gets out because bigger fish to fry. So I just wonder how they're going to handle that for Thunderbolts.
What if she
The
didn't get
excuse is
dusted,
going to be she
but-
got dusted, and it got put on pause.
Yeah.
That's
It's the only way it can really work.
it's a very convenient excuse that they've built themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, they're able to pause anybody's progress for 5 years just by saying, yeah, they're dusted. They blipped.
The other good blip scene is the Yelena one from Hawkeye, where she goes into the bathroom, gets dusted, walks back out.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, "What are you talking about? I just saw." She's like, "You've been gone for 5 years."
Yeah, I forgot
I was
about
like,
that scene.
more of that.
That is
That's
like
the one.
that is like the only good scene in that show.
That's the one that
False.
Dickie
That
ruined
is a
for you.
phenomenal show.
You remember that?
Nick,
It's
we gotta
really good.
have a discussion, man.
We're having a
really
discussion right now. But that's the one that Dickie ruined for you, and then tried
right
to
before
cover
you
up.
ruined Star Wars
That-
for me.
No, it was after. It was we were talking about it, and he had mentioned how he hadn't finished Hawkeye, and then Dickie mentioned how, oh yeah, and the scene with Yelena and the blip at the end of Black Widow, and then I said that's not right, and then Dickie realized he had spoiled it for Jake, but because he said the wrong property, tried to cover it up, but then I'm like, okay, we can't be wrong on this because whoever listens to it, that's wrong. So I'm correcting. And he's like, see, you're ruining it. Like, don't push this on me. I hope you're listening. Don't push this on me.
Yeah, no, you brought it up.
Was this after he ruined The Mandalorian for me?
Yeah, it was like a year after.
Oh, was it? Because I remember that day he ruined like 2 things for me in like quick succession.
That's Dickie for you.
We miss you.
We love you, Dickie. We really do.
The more we talk about you, the less I miss you.
Man, you ruined that
like
season of
The stories
Mandalorian
are
for
so
me.
vibrant, it's like you're here.
What was the other thing? It was The Mandalorian?
It was another Star Wars thing.
Oh, okay.
The Acolyte.
That would be really trippy if he ruined that
Like
for me.
3 years early.
Yeah.
Anything else on Captain Marvel?
Nah, it's all right. It's a fun movie. I enjoy it, but there's
Again,
some issues.
It's not filler, but it is kind of in that filler slot.
Yeah, it's filler light.
Her
Like Miller Light.
when she puts
Thank you.
when she puts her helmet on, her hair goes through the top. That looks really weird.
I love it.
That's probably I know they draw her like that a ton.
Yeah.
But like in live action, that CG looks really janky.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to the hair part of it. I was just like, I like that style.
I like it when they draw it in the comics, but when it's live action, it's really janky.
Yeah. I wouldn't have picked Brie Larson for this role.
Who would you have picked?
What's her name? She was in Game of Thrones. She was in...
Amelia Clark.
No, she was in the 3rd and 4th Hunger Games. I can't think of her name.
What else is she in?
Other things. She's in Captain America, the First Avenger. She's the one that kisses Steve.
Okay, but okay, give me a
And
second.
Peggy runs into her.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. We're going to find her because we mentioned her because you have a crush on her.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, you.
Her eyes are a little bit too far apart, and I really like that. Kind
That
of
sounds
like Emma
like
Stone.
Anya
And Anya
Taylor,
Taylor-Joy, yeah.
what's her face?
Joy.
But I feel like she hasn't been in anything in so long, I forgot her name.
I will find it. Natalie Dormer.
Natalie Dormer. I think she should have played this character because her regular demeanor is much closer to what Carol Danvers is. Whereas Brie Larson's a very bubbly, bright personality whenever you see her. And that kind of shines through in these movies a little bit.
Fair. It's fair. What's that movie with Anya Taylor-Joy in it?
Furiosa.
The Edgar Wright one.
Last
Night,
Night Soho.
yeah.
Yeah. You looking it up?
Looking up where to stream it. I haven't seen it in a while. I kind of want to.
Probably on like Max.
I think it's on Prime, actually.
That. I can watch it with ads. That sounds gross.
It's not the end of the world.
Especially for like one of his worst movies, from what I hear.
That's
It's my
That's
least
100%
favorite.
Yeah,
fair.
I haven't watched it yet, so because I've heard that it's not very good.
I would. I don't know.
Yeah, I've
saying
heard it's a disappointment for what people
saying it's one of his worst movies is weird because they all have a level of better. So it's still
I get
not
that, yeah.
a bad movie.
It's still better than picking something else, but
It's still better than watching it.
it might not be better than picking a different one of his films.
Yes.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Why is it putting the like of Split? Anyway,
We need to get rid of his computers during this. Shopping for Loungefly bags, looking up movies to watch later.
Anyway, if we don't have anything else to say about Captain Marvel, Jared, where can they find us for next week?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
I almost got him. I almost got him.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell, check us out, and rate us on all those apps, and check out our groovy website.
All right. And other than that, if you want to come on back with us as we keep getting more.
What's next week?
Before we get to that, I almost forgot. Nick, did you end up watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week?
Oh, yeah. If I were going to start Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after any of these movies, it would have been after I watched this movie.
I'm still going to ask you every week.
I did not watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Man, watching this movie really made me want to. Seeing Coulson, Like, seeing him throughout this entire movie, I was just like, yeah, I want to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Jake's going to ask. Just didn't do it, though.
Maybe next week, everybody. Maybe next week.
What is next week?
Next week, I don't know. Endgame. That's what it was.
That's wild. It's the big one.
Oh, we didn't talk about how Captain Marvel got us so hyped for Endgame.
I mean, it was literally just that one mid-credit scene.
Yeah, but it did its job. It did its sole job.
Yep.
To the point where a lot of people can't remember, like, was that an end credit scene? Was that in the movie?
For a long time, I thought it was like, you know how they did it with Captain America: The First Avenger, where it was just the trailer for Avengers. For a long time, I thought it was that. Anyway, next week we're watching Endgame, the end of the, well, not the end of the Infinity Saga?
Nope. There's one more.
Okay.
Right?
The penultimate episode of the Infinity Saga.
Spider-Man's the finale of it, right?
Technically, yeah.
So that'll be a nice chunky episode because that's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you want to keep trugging along with us as we get more and more phased out? Come on back. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Now I am.
And Jake's always like, of course I am, Jared. You always ask.
Sure it's going.
It's just because Dickie kicked the table.
That was once.
No,
Oh, he
only
didn't.
once.
Oh, the kicking. I thought you meant when he slammed his hands down and like the whole computer like froze. What?
I got a decent head and face. I don't know. I was going to go green for a long time, and I didn't see any greens I liked, and I saw this blue and liked this blue. Can you see me zoning out over here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's kind of why we're not talking about the movie, I don't think.
Yeah, I can't help it. Like, I keep trying to stay snapped into it, but like I'm just falling asleep. Rolling.
What? Keep rolling.
Oh, that's not the song I thought you were gonna sing. I thought you were singing the Rawhide.
Oh, that's from Five Goes West. I should.
Rolling.
Keep those prices rolling.
Rolling. What? Rawhide. You haven't clicked the board yet.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm phased out too.